Now at 9, we'll hear from an immigrant working at the Noel Tyson plant about how the planned closure has impacted her, and how some Joplin businesses have been affected by vandals. And Joplin Schools announced the 2023 class of its Hall of Fame.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Friday is the last day of production at the Tyson plant in Noel, Missouri. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Tanya Bach. The plant was originally scheduled to close next week, but the closure was moved up to October 13th. Still, the company says team members will be paid through the 20th. The closure will leave about 1,500 people unemployed, and a lot of them are immigrants. KOAM's Fernanda Silva has their story.
Yana Gonzalez moved to Neosho, Missouri from El Salvador 25 years ago. The last 5 she spent working at Tyson. In the beginning, she would cut 28 chicken wings per minute. Now, as the company is about to close its plant in Noel, and many of her co-workers have already left, she says the workload almost doubled. Currently, she cuts almost 50 chicken wings per minute. They have us, in my opinion, like I say, in modern slavery, because I have never been treated so badly in a job as they're doing now. But according to her, the increased workload is the tip of the iceberg. I take from Tyson the worst disappointment. I thank God that I had a job and the opportunity to have one. But for me, Tyson was the worst job in 25 years. According to her, some managers show no mercy toward employees, ignoring the long bathroom lines and requesting unreasonable short breaks. Gonzalez says the situation is even worse for workers who, unlike her, are undocumented. Sometimes when a Hispanic person doesn't have papers, they do what they're told. They allow themselves to be yelled at. We also reached out to Tyson, who emailed us answers to our questions. Tyson says they are committed to providing a safe and healthy workplace for all their team members. According to the company spokesperson, Tyson values its immigrants and refugee team members and provide high-paying jobs and access to legal services. Tyson also said they verified the employment eligibility of those they hire. Regarding the concern about an increased workload, Tyson say they run their process in control and based on the number of team members available to work each shift. Gonzalez says she will continue working into the very last day, but she's hoping for a better future and opportunity ahead. I honestly am enduring a lot because I need to work and start anew. And that's where Gonzalez's focus is now, her new beginnings. In Neosho, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
And tomorrow we will bring you the second part of our interview with Yanith Gonzalez, where she shares her plans and concerns about the future. We'll also hear what Tyson is doing to support their employees going forward. Well, the Labette County Sheriff's Office and Parsons Police Department are sharing a joint update on the review of a K-9 officer's passing. And while the Sheriff's Office continues its investigation, the Parsons Police Department has placed the K-9 handler on administrative leave and opened a personnel investigation to determine if any policy or work rules had been violated. The handler is represented by private counsel and has been interviewed by the Sheriff's Office along with other individuals. The memorial service for K-9 Kareem will be held at City Hall in the Municipal Auditorium. The date and time to be announced later. Businesses in Joplin are feeling the impact of the homeless population in the community. KOAM's Amber Jenkins spoke to some business owners on 32nd Street after a recent vandalism in the area.
Joplin Greenhouse and Coffee Shop was recently vandalized by someone who broke the glass door with rocks. Police have since arrested a homeless woman in that case, but the shop owner wasn't surprised. He's familiar with this issue.
And then we need to distinguish between who's a panhandler and who's a true homeless person that really needs to be loved on.
Although the businesses are thankful for the police patrolling the area, they also want to see action from city leaders.
The city of Joplin, the leaders in Joplin need to partner with these people like the Water Gardens, Vita Nova Village. There's a lot of places out there that have resources.
The Souls Harbor, but they go to capacity too. And those people that don't want to be there, they choose to be on the street and make crimes, do crimes like they have here, again, 3 times in 18 months.
Joplin Greenhouse and Coffee Shop aren't the only ones dealing with these issues. Workers at the nearby shopping plaza say that situations like these are becoming far too common.
Because we got to go in and repair everything what they break, and we don't mind them coming in, but to respect the place, that's all what we ask. They don't.
Any deterrent we can use to stop it and then help those people down the road to rehabilitate or not, get them on down the road.
Reporting in Joplin, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
The owner of Joplin Greenhouse wants to remind everyone that not all who struggle with homelessness are criminals. Well, the city of Pittsburgh today looked to the future, hosting an economic outlook conference. They invited economics and business professors from Pitt State, Wichita State, and Kansas State universities to discuss where the city stands. Those professors say that while the nation may be dealing with economic uncertainty because of inflation, the city of Pittsburgh is seeing steady growth.
So it might surprise people, but last year they surprised when I came around saying I thought we were an expanding economy, because we've gotten to this idea that this region and the state has been kind of really slow and stagnant, but I've been in a growth mode in our forecasts, and we've actually seen that growth over this last year, and we're expecting that this next year.
The conference was hosted at Pitt State's Overman Student Center. Joplin School District today inducted its 2023 Hall of Fame class. The Hall of Fame recognizes and honors the achievements of outstanding alumni from Joplin schools. 3 people today were inducted. They are 1968 Joplin High graduate, coach, and athletic director Sally Beard, 1970 Parkwood graduate, fighter pilot, and 4-star general Howie Chandler, and 1954 Joplin High graduate and business owner Joseph Newman.
One is to honor those in our past. Our alumni have done amazing things, so we're honoring our past. 2, we're investing in the next generation. We want our students now and future students to look and see that, hey, I too can do amazing things with my life. Here's examples. People that's come through these doors and walked through these halls that have done great things in the world. And then number 3, we're looking to invest back into our students.
Joplin Police and School Resource Officer Rick Hershey received the Meritorious Award for his heroic action during a shooting last year. Well, coming up, it's World Mental Health Day, and we'll have tips for parents and caretakers to help kids improve their mental health. Stroke could cause nearly 10 million deaths annually by the year 2050. That's according to a new report in the Lancet Neurology. The report warns of a 50% increase in deaths, mostly in low and middle income countries, if urgent action isn't taken to improve prevention, care, and rehabilitation. New research suggests a possible risk factor for preeclampsia. The study in the journal Nature Genetics finds if a placenta grows too fast, it can contribute to the risk of preeclampsia and to earlier delivery of the baby. Researchers identified 40 variations in the genetic code linked to how big a placenta can grow. And it's World Mental Health Day, and 1 in 6 U.S. youth between the ages of 6 and 17 experience a mental health disorder every year. Andy Gaither has more on how parents and caretakers can help promote mental health and well-being.
It's a growing problem, a mental health crisis in the U.S., and young people aren't immune.
For children, we really should be paying attention, not just when there's a concern or a crisis, but ahead of time.
Pediatric psychologist Ariana Howitt is the executive clinical director of On Our Sleeves, a nationwide children's hospital initiative aimed at promoting children's mental health and wellness. She says that starts with caregivers having open-ended conversations with the child.
At dinner time, we check in with each other and we say, what was the hardest part of your day? What was your favorite part of your day? Tell me about your favorite teacher.
Howitt says parents should normalize how their child feels and model good mental health habits.
Talk about your hard days, talk about your hard emotions and what you're doing to cope with those.
Social connections are critical, so Howitt says encouraging kids to have healthy friendships and join in extracurricular activities can also promote mental wellness.
If a child feels like they're included and they're connected and they're a part of their community, their schools, their home environment, that they are more likely to be mentally well or handle stress better.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast, and later it's Media Day for MIAA basketball. We'll hear from the Lions and Gorillas about the upcoming season.
Well, it turned out to be a nice one for us today. Temperatures pretty good across the region as we went into the mid-70s during the afternoon. It's even going to warm up a little bit more over the next couple days. Nice shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Temps right now 61 Nevada, Monette 64 Neosho, Grand Lake 63, Pittsburgh 63, Chinook is checking in at 64 degrees. Let's go outside. Here's 7th. Here's Rangeline sitting at 65. Visibility is good. Easterly winds switching to the south, and those are actually going to pick up as we go through the daytime hours tomorrow due to a warm front lifting through. So once we get on the south side, those southerly winds will really start to kick in across the region. All right, a couple little showers earlier this evening in our far northern counties, and there's still a few little tiny sprinkles, but in general it's pretty quiet. It's going to stay pretty quiet tonight. We are going to get thunderstorms to our north near Kansas City, but those are going to stay north of the region. Let's go out to the west. Here's our next storm system. Look at the jet stream diving in. Upper level low is moving into the Pacific Northwest, and this system will be affecting us as we go through the next couple days. First off, with the winds and warming us up, so we'll only drop near 60 for an overnight low tonight. As we go through the daytime hours tomorrow, we warm into the upper 70s by noon, and then by the afternoon, I think most of us 81, maybe 82 degrees, 81 Stockton, 79 Veneta, Pittsburgh 81, Anderson up to about 80. Tomorrow night, we don't drop off much at all. Southerly winds keep our temps up. As we go into Thursday, just like tomorrow, high temps right around 80. It's going to be warm. It's going to be windy. Now, Thursday night, a line of showers and thunderstorms will start to work in, most likely after 9 or 10 p.m. They're going to be scattered, but they could be a little bit stronger as they push through the region. Here's 3 o'clock in the morning, and then most of them will be out of here by Friday morning. We may have a few leftover showers for Friday morning. All right, your day planner for you Wednesday, 64 in the morning, 77 by noon. High temp right around 81 degrees. And I mentioned the winds, those southerly winds will start to pick up. So gusts kind of 25 to 30, maybe 35 at times tomorrow. And then again, much of the same as we head into Thursday afternoon. And don't forget this weekend, we have a partial solar eclipse. We get maximum of about 63%. So if you're looking at the sun, make sure you have protective glasses, and that will occur shortly before the noon hour on Saturday. 81 for us tomorrow, 81 on Thursday, 69 on Friday. Those morning showers would clear out. Looks good for the weekend. Cooler, but nice. Low to mid 60s. We stay in the 60s all the way until the middle of next week. 70s return. Also, chances for rain return. Tanya?
Thanks, Doug. Coming up, more UAW members on the picket line.
Don't look now, but there's another strike that started this week. I'm Jeff Flock with the Fox Business Network at the Mack Truck Plant in Macungie, Pennsylvania. We'll give you all the details when we come back.
It's now a done deal. 99% of voting members of the Writers Guild of America approved a ratified contract with the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers. The 3-year deal includes meaningful gains and protections for writers. Union members walked off the job last May. The strike lasted 148 days, and negotiators did not reach a settlement until September 27th. 4,000 more UAW members are on strike, this time after rejecting a deal with Mack Trucks. Fox Business correspondent Jeff Flock is at Mack's assembly plant in Pennsylvania with the latest.
Another week, another strike by the United Auto Workers. This one at the plants where they make Mack trucks in the U.S., and this one with a bit of a twist. Workers walking off their jobs this week after the union had reached a tentative agreement with the folks at Mack Trucks. Problem is, when it went to the rank and file, they voted it down by a 73% no vote. Sean Fain, the UAW president, writing to the Volvo, the owner of Mack Trucks, that the members have spoken, and as the highest authority in our union, they have the final word. Fain saying it, he was inspired by the walkout. For the company's part, it said they are surprised and disappointed that the UAW has chosen to strike, which they feel is unnecessary. The strike affects 5 different Mack truck plants, this one here in Macungie, Pennsylvania, as well as another one here, 2 in Maryland and another in Florida. No word yet on what the strike may cost the folks at Mack Trucks, but at the big 3, the walkout so far has cost $2.68 billion, according to one estimate. Suppliers also taking it on the chin because of layoffs, $1.6 billion lost there. Dealers losing another $1.25 billion. That because of the lack of parts and vehicles coming from the struck assembly plants. And wages lost by UAW workers, $579 million worth. Mack Trucks is one of the only companies now, perhaps the only one, heavy truck makers that assemble their engines and their trucks here in the U.S. They point out that they are facing competition, foreign competition, with lower wages and lower costs, and they say they're just trying to stay afloat. At the Mack Trucks plant in Macungie, Pennsylvania, I'm Jeff Flock with the Fox Business Network.
The state of Utah is suing the social media platform TikTok, claiming it's a danger to children. Utah's governor and attorney general allege TikTok illegally baits children into addictive and unhealthy use, misrepresents the app's safety, and deceptively portrays itself as independent of its China-based parent company. State officials say prolonged use of TikTok interferes with children's mental health and well-being.
We're tired of TikTok lying to parents. We're tired of our kids losing their innocence and even their lives addicted to the dark side of social media. So, once again, this lawsuit is our escalation of a battle for the hearts and minds of our sons and daughters. We have a compelling case against TikTok. Our kids are absolutely worth the fight.
A lawsuit filed in state court seeks to stop TikTok's alleged illegal business practices and asks the court to impose an undisclosed penalty. TikTok has previously stated its app is safe for children. Up next, we'll learn more about this massive pumpkin that just set a world record. Well, this perfectly portly pumpkin is a record setter. It clocked in at 2,749 pounds at the 50th annual Half Moon Bay Pumpkin Weigh-Off in California. That's reportedly a new world record. Its grower, Travis Ginger of Minnesota, dubbed it Michael Jordan. Ginger and pumpkin Michael Jordan snagged a cool $30,000 for being the best. Now, Ginger is now a 3-time contest winner. He also took home the top prize in 2022 and 2020. He knows how to grow those gourds. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports is coming your way. We'll check out a home in Baxter Springs that transformed for the spooky season. Plus, Freeman Health System goes pink in support of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Residents in Miami, Oklahoma were in attendance at a discussion about human trafficking. KOAM's Anthony Saviello has the story.
Martha Jordan is an award-winning novelist and Miami, Oklahoma native. Martha is also an advocate for human trafficking awareness.
It's very encouraging. And then the back and forth among the people in the audience, giving suggestions of what they can do to help. So I'm very excited about the reception from the crowd.
The event that was put on by the Republican and Democratic parties of Ottawa County allowed Martha to speak and then have an open discussion with residents about their concerns both nationwide and locally.
And I think the more meetings like this that we have here in Miami and the people in the surrounding area, I hope that, that maybe they're able to come to where they can take that into the communities like Joplin, Pittsburgh, Fairland, those areas where the word will get out where a person can go to help.
Many of the stories Martha has heard and experienced have inspired a fiction novel she is writing about human trafficking.
So naive myself, and then getting out there and hearing stories like that just impacted my life so much. I think that I carry that with me, how I was impacted, and if you're impacted, it's easy for that to flow over into other people, and they know that you bring truth.
Martha went on to say that it's important to realize this issue is happening in the United States, and it's not getting the attention it deserves. Reporting in Ottawa County, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
Representatives from the Republican and Democratic parties of Miami said they will do another discussion with Martha and hope to invite local law enforcement to give input. Well, going pink made for a picture-perfect day at Freeman Health in Joplin today. Freeman President and CEO Paula Baker posed for pictures with staff to promote Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The early treatment of breast cancer is the main thing they wanted to recognize at the event. 240,000 women in the U.S. are diagnosed with breast cancer every year. The earlier breast cancer is detected, the more successful the treatment is.
To fight breast cancer, we are offering mammograms, which are the most effective screening tool. We also have a special fund at Freeman called Helping Friends, which helps women who can't afford a mammogram get one. We know in this very community there are approximately 9,000 women who won't get a screening mammogram because of finances.
The event happened at the Freeman Women's Pavilion at 1532 West 32nd Street in Joplin. We continue our look at festive fall locations with a trip to the Wood Farms Pumpkin Patch in Crawford County. This year, the 18-year-old Pumpkin Patch features a 3-lane fun slide, giant pumpkin bounce pad, wagon rides, a 100-foot zip line, pumpkin bowling, a tire mountain, and so much more. Woods Farms produces more than just fun and pumpkins. The owner wants people to know the farm produces education as well.
It's just the agriculture and understanding, where food and crops come from. We had a field trip last week and the teacher was so excited to be able to show the kids the various stages of the pumpkins growing, because at least half of her class thought pumpkins grew on a tree. So to learn that they actually grew on a vine, just priceless.
Admission is $8 per person, and kids under 2 years old get in free. Well, a Baxter Springs native is preparing for his 47th annual yard hunt. Last year, Olson hosted 500 to 600 trick-or-treaters on Halloween night. He spends all year preparing for the event to make his decorations as unique as possible.
The day this goes down till this time next year, it's making new props, whether that's additions to the facade, whether that's pumpkins, whether that's monsters, whether that's tombstones, fencing, whatever, just everything to expand and make this bigger.
On Olson's YouTube channel, called Unhinged Productions, he makes videos showing others how to make their own DIY spooky decor. Well, a bit later, award-winning research.
A Harvard professor's research on the gender pay gap earning her a Nobel Prize. I'm Alexis McAdams. I'll have that story coming up next.
Well, it turned out to be a nice one for us today. Temperatures pretty good across the region as we went into the mid-70s during the afternoon. It's even going to warm up a little bit more over the next couple days. Nice shot. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Temps right now 61 Nevada, Monette 64 Neosho, Grand Lake 63, Pittsburgh 63, Chinook is checking in at 64 degrees. Let's go outside. Here's 7th. Here's Rangeline sitting at 65. Visibility is good. Easterly winds switching to the south, and those are actually going to pick up as we go through the daytime hours tomorrow due to a warm front lifting through. So once we get on the south side, those southerly winds will really start to kick in across the region. All right, a couple little showers earlier this evening in our far northern counties, and there's still a few little tiny sprinkles, but in general, it's pretty quiet. It's going to stay pretty quiet tonight. We are going to get thunderstorms to our north near Kansas City, but those are going to stay north of the region. Let's go out to the west. Here's our next storm system. Look at the jet stream diving in. Upper level low is moving into the Pacific Northwest, and this system will be affecting us as we go through the next couple days. First off, with the winds and warming us up, so we'll only drop near 60 for an overnight low tonight. As we go through the daytime hours tomorrow, we warm into the upper 70s by noon, and then by the afternoon, I think most of us 81, maybe 82 degrees, 81 Stockton, 79 Veneta, Pittsburgh 81, Anderson up to about 80. Tomorrow night, we don't drop off much at all. Southerly winds keep our temps up. As we go into Thursday, just like tomorrow, high temps right around 80. It's going to be warm. It's going to be windy. Now, Thursday night, a line of showers and thunderstorms will start to work in, most likely after 9 or 10 p.m. They're going to be scattered, but they could be a little bit stronger as they push through the region. Here's 3 o'clock in the morning, and then most of them will be out of here by Friday morning. We may have a few leftover showers for Friday morning. All right, your day planner for you Wednesday, 64 in the morning, 77 by noon. High temp right around 81 degrees. And I mentioned the winds, those southerly winds will start to pick up. So gusts kind of 25 to 30, maybe 35 at times tomorrow. And then again, much of the same as we head into Thursday afternoon. And don't forget this weekend, we have a partial solar eclipse. We get maximum of about 63%. So if you're looking at the sun, make sure you have protective glasses, and that will occur shortly before the noon hour on Saturday. 81 for us tomorrow, 81 on Thursday, 69 on Friday. Those morning showers would clear out. Looks good for the weekend. Cooler, but nice. Low to mid 60s. We stay in the 60s all the way until the middle of next week. 70s return. Also, chances for rain return. Tanya?
Well, don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. It's called the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Coming up in sports, highlights from tonight's volleyball match between Carl Junction and Carthage. Plus, Missouri Southern and Pittsburgh State participate in MIAA Media Day. John Dales has the season previews from the Lions and Gorillas up next.
College basketball season is exactly 1 month away here in the 4 states. Today is MIAA Media Day, and our sports reporter Brock Baldridge has more on the season outlook for the Lions and Gorillas this coming year.
Well, can you believe it? The college basketball season's just around the corner. We're here in Kansas City at the College Basketball Experience, where we got to speak with Pittsburgh State and Missouri Southern head coaches from both men's and women's teams about the outlook on their season.
I felt like we've had a good preseason here, and it's early. We got a long ways to go, but I think we fixed some things as far as our things we needed in recruiting, as far as some size, bringing in some big kids, and recruiting another point guard. Losing Q's kind of hurt us a little bit, but having Jordan Freisen come in from Memphis, and Max, who was sitting out last year with a broken foot, will help fill that void for us.
We do have a lot of new faces, so we've been trying to do some team bonding and just trying to figure out on the floor what groups and players flow together better, and so we're working on that every day in practice. I just think it takes us having trust in each other and trusting in our work and in the process.
Should be really exciting. We're only 1 month away now from both our men's and our women's team from tipping off for the regular season. In Kansas City, Brock Baldridge, KOAM Sports.
Now, for any more coverage today from Kansas City, head over to the sports page on our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com/sports. We've got the full interviews from all 4 head coaches and players from each team available to watch back. Now, taking a look at the preseason polls, which also get released this morning, coinciding with Media Day. Starting with the women, Pittsburgh State is in at the 3 spot, along with receiving 1 first-place vote. Missouri Southern down at 7. The coaches poll has them, though, up a little bit higher. In that one, they jump up to 5, with the Gorillas staying put at 3. Now to the men's side, Missouri Southern coming in at the 5 spot. They bring back plenty of talent from last year. Meanwhile, Jeff Boshy's group, which you just heard him talk about, not nearly as highly ranked. The Gorillas in the 11th spot in the preseason poll. Same spots for both of them in the coaches poll, and Northwest Missouri receives 19 of the 21 first place votes. Over to high school volleyball, we're exactly a week away from district playoffs in Missouri. Tonight, Carl Junction and Carthage square off, hoping to hit the postseason in stride. Carl Junction hosting Carthage on Pink Night, honoring breast cancer survivors. First set, Kylie Scott for Carl Junction is going to come flying in for the kill right there. That put the Bulldogs on top 11-7. Later on in the set, CJ still in front. Mia Carnes goes on to serve for CJ. Tigers try to go over the top quickly, but big time blocked by Carissa Chase. Tigers wouldn't go away, though, really all night. Here the serve gets dug out by Sadie Comer. Then later on in the point, Jaden Brunnertz pushes it across to win it. But Carl Junction in front 22-17 at that point. They take the first set 25-19. In the second now, Abigail Wilson on to serve. She keeps the point alive. Then Aubrey Flower rises up and gets the kill. Carl Junction goes on to win the second and third sets. Clean sweep from the Bulldogs on their final home match of the regular season. That's all for sports. We're back with more news after this.
Well, trick-or-treaters may experience an extra scare this Halloween. A new survey is suggesting they may get less candy this year due to inflation. Researchers at the sales and marketing group Advantage Solutions surveyed more than 1,000 adults, and 40% said inflation will impact their plans to buy candy. And among that group, half said they plan on spending the same amount as last year, but will be buying less of those sweet treats. Well, much has been said and studied over years about the pay gap between men and women in the workplace. One Harvard professor's research seeks to explain why the divide persists, and now it's earned her one of the highest honors in her field. Fox News correspondent Alexis McAdams has the story.
The Nobel Prize in Economics awarded on Monday to a Harvard professor whose work sheds light on the true cause of the pay gap between men and women. Claudia Golden is the author of Understanding the Gender Gap. She studied 200 years of women's participation in the workplace and says the environment has changed drastically in the 21st century.
Women are now more educated than men. They graduate from college at much higher rates than men. They do better in high school.
Despite those advances, women earn on average about 13% less than men. Golden says that number doesn't tell the whole story.
These differences, although some are found within the labor market, are really reflections of what happens within individuals' homes.
The key factor, Golden says, is parenthood. After having kids, women's pay tends to drop and career growth slows down. That's because modern corporate culture tends to reward workers with more flexibility and availability.
America runs on women. And we noticed that during the pandemic, when women were being pulled back into the home because of their work and because of childcare.
Ultimately, Golden says both genders lose out, women on advancing in their careers and men on spending time at home with their families. Only about half the world's women have paying jobs compared to 80% of men. Economists believe that's a wasted opportunity, with jobs not always going to the most qualified candidates.
It's about economic efficiency of markets. So is there a risk that we're wasting potential by having women not participating in the labor market?
So Golden's work doesn't provide an easy answer on where we go next, but it could help policymakers understand the root cause of the disparity. Reporting in New York, I'm Alexis McAdams, Fox News.
Well, coming up, if you're about to head to bed, we'll show you a mesmerizing video of sheep herding with plenty of the critters to count. For the next minute or so, don't let anyone pull the wool over your eyes, or you'll miss the massive herd of sheep crossing the road. Jeannie Moose has a bird's eye view.
Don't
Don't even try counting sheep. There are too many of them. Swirling beneath the drone, recording them in Othello, Washington. A couple of men on utility vehicles herded the sheep while another guy strung plastic fencing across the highway. How did the sheep cross the road? Following each other, like sheep, naturally. It felt like something out of Rawhide.
Rollin', 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 keep them doggies rollin'.
Speeded up, it was weirdly mesmerizing and oddly reminiscent of cow art by a Kansas character who calls himself Farmer Derek. Derek drove around, strategically dropping feed for the cows, so that the drone overhead captured them forming a smiley face.
Look at this, it's perfect! Look at it!
Of course, there's always one that sticks out.
Baba Black Sheep.
Only the black sheep of this story was actually a white sheep that stood out by leaping across the road. This sheep has nothing to be sheepish about.
Oh, that's a good one. That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We leave you with video of the Northern Lights over Alaska. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.